Okay, today we're going to take a quick little break from making fur brushes, and I'm going to show you how to make an elegant pattern. I have gone into my calligraphy library, and I've chosen script, and as you can see from over here, I've got my size set to 30. And what I want to do is make a wavy pattern that starts out at the top thin and ends out at the bottom thin, and has some thickness in the middle. So I'm going to change my brush color to white, my background color to black, and I'm going to try for a nice wave. And I'm using two-finger tap to undo when I don't see one that I like. Oh, I like that one. We're going to use it. Let's take layer 1 and duplicate it. I'm going to come up here to my arrow key, tap on that. Under snapping, I've got magnetics and snapping turned on, so I can move this up more easily. Goes nice and straight. And we'll take the bottom layer 1 and move it down. And our ends are not going to meet. I got lucky this time, it's close. So what I want to do is let's go ahead and merge these down. I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to reduce the opacity of both layers. And on this top layer, I want to create a bridge between these two ends. And that looks like it might work. I'm going to have to erase part of it, so I'll come down here to layer 1, bring up my eraser, and I'll just wipe out this part here that we don't need. Try and make it nice and smooth transition. And then we'll up the opacity to max on both of them. Take a look at that. I think that this could be a little thicker. That looks a little better. And let's smooth this one out a little bit. And you will notice that there is some transparency here. This part over here is gray because a light pressure is not as dark as a hard pressure for this particular brush. And that's okay. Let's merge these two layers down. I'm going to come up here to my select tool. That's the magic ribbon. I'm going to do an automatic selection. I'm going to select on either side. I will do an invert. That's right down here. And then I will say fill layer. And now, even the thin parts are nice and solid white. So now what we want to do is duplicate layer 1. And let's slide it over. We want to make sure that they're not touching anywhere up and down. But we don't really want to make these exact. We want some variance to the distance. That way, when we're running the brush, we won't notice any variances that we're going to cause when we make this an infinite brush. And now let's start going this direction. Duplicate that. Make sure it snaps along the top and the bottom. Okay, that might work out all right. I'm going to take one of the middle layer ones, duplicate it, and put it up here at the top because we're going to need that. And we're going to pinch all the other layer ones together. And we're going to create a new layer and fill it. And then we're going to reduce the opacity of layer 1 and layer 3 here and duplicate both of them. We'll take one layer 1 and one layer 3 and scoot it off to the left halfway. And then we'll take the top layer or the bottom layer 3 and the bottom layer 1 and scoot them off the other direction. There we go. I can delete this now. I can probably delete this one. And let's put the opacity back up to max. And we need to fill in this middle space. So we'll take this extra layer 1 that we created. And I just want to tap this in so that it looks like it fits. Make sure that the top and bottom are good. And then we can merge these 3 layers together. We will create a layer 2, copy layer 1, and turn it off. And let's go into my patterns. I'm going to start up a new brush. And we're going to go down to grain. We'll do the edit, import, paste. So we'll do edit, import, paste. And then we'll click on done. And then down here where it says zoom, you notice it says cropped. Let's reduce that all the way down so that it's follow size. That way a larger brush will create a larger pattern. And you can kind of see what pattern we're getting there if you look at the preview. And let's go into the Apple Pencil. And we will turn the opacity all the way off. And then we'll go to Properties. And I'm going to set the maximum size here to 400. And then just so you can see what happens, I'm going to turn this Orient to Screen off. And it looks like it zooms up really big, right? But when we click on Done and we start painting with this, it's sideways. This happens a lot with stamp brushes as well as brushes like this one. And all you have to do is go in here and turn that Orient to Screen on. Let's go to About This Brush, and I'm going to call this Wavy Pattern. And we'll click on Done and Done. And let's see what we have here. See, that looks pretty good. The default size of the brush, by the way, is 51%. Let's reduce that down to about 20 and paint that in there. And you can see you can get a nice fill color going on. Let's go up to about 35. I'm going to change my brush color here to a medium green color. Let's go to the background and change it to a dark green color. And we paint this on. And maybe that medium green color needs to be a little bit darker, something a little closer to the background. There we go. That makes a nice subtle pattern. Let's make it a little darker, a little lighter, and a little richer. Yeah, I like that better. Now, if you want to create a pattern that goes at an angle, because it's on Orient to Screen, you turn your canvas, and when you paint on, it's still going up and down on the screen. So when your canvas is back to straight, you've got your wavy pattern going at an angle. Let's see if we can do a little adjustment to this pattern. I'm going to take my layer 1 here, and I'm going to number these. Let's put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I might as well make that one 0. And this one is going to be 9. And I'm going to copy this layer, and then I'm going to undo my numbers so that they're not messing us up. We'll clear layer 2, and we will go into our patterns, to our wavy pattern, and under a grain, edit, import, paste. And you can see we got the 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right there. And it looks like it might be right there at 8. But let's see. Actually, I think it's right there at 1. You can see it really obvious on the on the smaller scale here. It's between the 0 and the 1. That 1 needs to be moved over slightly, I think. Let's come over here. I'm going to turn this on. It looks like I need to select this one here to my right. And move it over so it's more in the middle of those two. And let's try this one. We will copy this layer, edit, import, paste, give that a done, and that looks like it might have fixed the problem. Sometimes you just got to play around to make sure that your pattern is going to come out okay. And as you can see, there's no longer a great big gap in there. So let's go back to 35%. And let's choose this green. And there we go. So not only did we create a pattern, but we even saw a good way to fix it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you have a wonderful day.